Can you guys hear and see us? That's the biggest question in the beginning.
Yes. Every time.
How are you guys? Just like a quick note in the chat would be awesome.
I can hear you. Yes. Good.
Thanks, Flo.
Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So, thanks for joining again for this week's webinar. And see some new people, Flo. Hello.
Nice. So, as usual, we highly recommend you to get some pen and paper if you don't have it already. And we will do some exercises, so you might have to write. You can probably do them in your head as well, but it's better if you have better if you have some pen and paper. And also the Q&A as usual. Yes, that's the last time. It's going to be in the end, but at any point if you have any questions, you can let us know in the chat.
And first of all, that is Carolina.
Oh, hi. Yes.
And for, I guess, some people, I'm Julian. So that we just together went onto this journey of unboxing yourself when just the COVID thing started. And so we now do like every week this webinar and do like videos and challenges on our website unboxyourself.co. So that started about like 3 weeks ago, and we just apparently continue this until the end of the quarantine, as we said last time.
At least. Yes.
And see where this is leading us. So happy to see everybody who's joining and wants to learn something about what we came up with, like the C.O.V.I.D model that we're gonna go into again, and just like other ways on how to cope with the current situation, but also how you can use that for going deeper and just exploring yourself a bit more.
Exploring yourself.
Yeah, you know.
Okay. Yeah, you know. Okay. So last time we talked about the C.O.V.I.D model for personal growth, and we will go over that again. So for the ones that were not there, this is it. C.O.V.I.D. And it means getting from your current state to your desired state using the O.V.I tools. So C stands for current state and D for desired state. And these are the most important aspects. And they are connected with these arrows with intention. You get the intention to get to your desired state. How do you get to your desired state though? Using these 3 tools in the middle. And they are O for observe, V for visualize, and I for interact or integrate. And today we will focus mostly on the O. O for observe, the O. So this is going to be a webinar that's mostly centered in observing what's happening to you now, today, in this moment, and giving you some tools so you can start noticing more frequently or get acquainted with the idea of observing what are your patterns, your behaviors, your thoughts, your emotions. So yeah, it's going to be around that.
No, that's the main part today. So it's pretty much what we did, what introduced, and like the C.O.V.I.D model was just obviously, as you can see, you find a wordplay, but in those tools that are obviously like field-grounded things that we notice that really work, and that are also kind of proven that this are tools that help you to like get aware, to become aware of the current situation, to be helpful for like getting to the other point, the desired state. And so like that's funny, but on the other hand also like very helpful.
Now there is anything funny with the coronavirus, but
no, don't.
It's not, no. But you get what we mean. So, to start and to get all sort of in the same page, we will do a wake up ritual. And it sounds weird. It sounds like a cult. So it's not. It's not that. Don't worry.
It's not a ritual because we do it the first time. So.
Yes, it's not a ritual yet. And well, we will start with moving our shoulders a little bit. So it's going to be, first we put them up. Well, they have some technical difficulties. First, you pull them up, then you go back, and then down and front. So we will do this sort of circle 3 times. So
looks funny, but still.
Yes, give it a shot. It's so good. So down, front, up, back, down, front, up, back, down, front. And now we reverse. He's having some really funny noises. The shoulders. So we reverse. Back, up, front, down, back, up, front, down, back, up, front, down. Nice. And now with the head, we will do some circles with the head. And if that feels uncomfortable or if you don't like it, you can do any other movement that feels good. So just like you can draw small circles, big circles.
Maybe start slow if something is like.
Yes. I am like
not comfortable.
Head banging here.
Yeah.
But and switch the circle. Whatever you do, even it out. So make it even from one side and the other. So now that we did that, we're gonna do some breathing. So we are going to inhale deeply, hold for 2 seconds, and then release. So let's inhale, hold, release. Inhale, hold, release. Inhale, hold, release. And now we shake it off. Okay. We're ready.
All right, now we're getting into the mood.
Yes.
Thanks for giving us the time to get ourselves in the mood.
Yes, that also helps us. So yeah, it's kind of a win-win situation. So today, as we said, we will focus on observing. And in one of the first meetings, we talked about resisting change and like how naturally the human is programmed to resist change. And the funny paradox is that we actually are very good at adapting and becoming resilient and accepting change eventually if we stop resisting it. So the main thing that helps us get there is being in the present, being aware. So today, by observing what are our current patterns, what is our current environment, the situation, everything, we will be able to, decide if we want to affect our current reality or if we want to keep it this way.
Yeah, so it's really the case that you today just look at the things you repeatedly do, your routines, anything that seems just, a ritual to you, so something that you repeat. So that's really the main focus today, rather than like anything that's going on at the moment around you. Look at the things that are consistently happening, because these are the things that we go into today a bit more, and also because they influence you the most. So things, the routines, how you get up every day, how you go to bed every evening, these are the things that influence your state, influence you, and sort of make you the human you are just by repeating all those patterns. And so that's why we thought it's super important that we look at that super closely, and that you can see, okay, I would like maybe to change that or something else. So yeah, that's for today.
Yeah. And now the dishwasher is going to make a sound. There you go. Okay. Just ignore it. So the first concept that we will discuss today is patterns. And the patterns are everywhere. We have this brain patterns that we just repeat day in and day out, and they become our routines, our thought patterns, our inner monologues, like all these things that we might have mentioned, and they sound probably very complex and up in the air. But the thing is, like, these are all patterns. These are things that we repeat over and over again. And we can cite an example of, like, for example, things that we learned. Like when you first started biking and you got your first bike and you were, trying to move the pedals and like maneuver the handle. I don't know the names of the parts of the bike, but you were very concentrated and trying to get everything moving, and you were super aware in the moment, like, okay, let's see, what do I need to do? Where do I need to go? How does this work? And as you became more acquainted to the bike, then you just started going with it. You started knowing how to pedal and maneuver at the same time. And there was a point where you didn't need it to you didn't need to think about what you were doing. It just came naturally. So this is when it became a pattern or a learned behavior. And this is what we do with most things, like for example, brushing your teeth, or for example, putting your shoes in the morning, stuff like that. And another example would be, for example, the first time that you boiled an egg, and you probably had problems with it because you didn't know when it was done. And it's like, okay, should I put it before the water boils, after the water boils? It's like, how does this work? And you probably had a lot of questions, but after you figured it out, it was like, okay, it's easy, I just know how this works. You just remember to turn off the fire at some point, and that's it. And this is like, if you're a chef, you probably have a lot more stuff to it. It's not, it's not as simple, I guess, but for most mortals, it's how it works. So this is basically how we build a pattern and how we incorporate that into our routines in our lives.
Yeah,
and
maybe also, like, in addition to like the routines we just build out of those behaviors, they're also just like, as we know, all the time those thoughts running through our heads. And I think there was a number of like 60,000 thoughts a day that you have all the time, like per day. And so then I think 95% of them are the same thoughts you had previously already. So not only in behavior you repeat a lot of things, but also in your mind you just continue doing the same things over and over again, so that you feel very connected to that. You feel, okay, that's like how usually things go, that's what I do, that's almost who I am. And so by looking at the behavior, you already get a notion of that, and that's kind of what we focus on today most of the time, because that's a lot easier to like observe, okay, how do I behave, what did I do, how does my environment look like. But those things are also possible to reflect on your thoughts, just to keep that in mind. And so what we then do with this first step in the C.O.V.I.D model is really that you start noticing those patterns, those behaviors, those things that are just constantly and repeatedly happening. And by being able to notice them, just making yourself aware of that, just being able to consciously see them, that's kind of the point where you start being able to change them as well. And not just follow through without noticing them. So that's the point, what we try to do with the observation part in the C.O.V.I.D model.
And this is what we call the zombie mode. We are in zombie mode when we are just not thinking about what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we are feeling. We just go through life like operating this system. We just like input some programming code. We just program ourselves for the day and we go. as zombies. We don't really stop and think, okay, do I really want to have peanut butter sandwich, or do I prefer pancakes? Or well, so that might that might come up, but like you don't really think about which bus you will take, or which which route will you do with your bike, or whatever it is that like just gets you started, or like it's part of your routine. It just becomes automated and you don't have to think about it. And that is actually wonderful. That's wonderful, because otherwise you would have to use so much concentration and so much brain power in deciding everything that you will do. It's like, oh, how do I use the fork? How do I use the knife? And this way, it's just, yeah, you know how to use the fork and knife, and how to tie your shoelaces, and how to shower, how to brush your teeth. All these different things that you do automatically without thinking, they are part of your zombie mode. The bad thing about the zombie mode is when we are repeating things that they are not adaptive, we call it, but it's like that they are not helpful for your view of how life should be, or how your ideal life should look like. And in those cases, the good thing is like if you observe them and you see them, then you can change them. These patterns. I mean, want to add something?
No, that's perfectly right. And well, maybe just like the thing that why our brain does that is just literally any energy preservation. So it just helps us to not spend all the time thinking about those trivial things of doing our shoes or eating or whatever. That is like the thing that helps our brain to just rest, because we've done it, so we can just like do the things as before and can think about other stuff that might be more important, which is not always the case, but that's kind of what the brain is heading for.
Yeah. Good. So a few things that we can observe, and we will address this today, is the environment. We can observe our behavior, our thoughts, and our emotions. You can probably observe more things, but these are the 4 things that we thought were more relevant today. And we will go a bit deeper in each of this. So, do you want to do the first exercise?
Yes. How about you, for now, just, I assume you sit, and if you're standing or doing something else, please stop for a second. Not that you fall over or something. So you just close your eyes. Please do that now. And then you go mentally through your room and imagine or like count the things that are red in your room. So what
the
kind
color red.
What?
The color red.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just in case.
The color. What color? Yeah. So the things that are just red in the room, and you just mentally go through them and count them, and just take a few seconds to do that. And maybe if you like to, you can also write it down.
But you need to open your eyes for that.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
So don't. Okay.
So
I think of them.
So okay, if you have done that, that was basically just an exercise that gets you into what can you observe. Did you see some red things?
Well, I'll try to count them all, and yeah.
Basically an exercise to just see how much you observe consciously all the time and how much you remember of those things. And so this exercise is just like an easy and small reminder of that there are a lot of things going on in our environment all the time, and our brain is just taking us to the things that seem most relevant, that are important to us. And so when we just focus on like one specific thing, we can see how much we actually usually focus on them, and how much of that is in our own or do we observe actually. And so just to keep that in mind for like continuing in this webinar is like our brain is really trying to have as little energy usage for those things as possible. And so we really observe, or like we perceive a lot of things, but we don't consciously observe them. And I think that's an important thing to keep in mind. And there's an easy, nice exercise to do that if you want to do that more often.
Yeah, and well, I always remember less things than there actually are because I probably missed some things that were red. Because I wasn't like, I don't go through life. It's like, oh, okay, that's red, that's red. It's just like somewhere. And yeah, by bringing it to your attention, you can actually see it and see how much you're missing. So this is what we're doing now, bringing to your attention that you're most of the time not paying attention. So I'm sorry for that. It's a tough reality, but you can handle it. You'll survive. So then another good exercise for assessing this zombie mode is a routine check. You want to explain?
Mm-hmm. So what basically with this exercise is another thing that you, instead of focusing now on a specific color in your room or something like that, you check what repeated behaviors you do. Because before it was the environment, now we move forward a bit into behaviors, what you personally do. And so with that, we now focus on things that you do on a daily basis. So for example, in the morning, you start with waking up, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, or breaking
I thought
breakfast.
you were going to say take something. It's fine. Never mind. Did you get it?
So, whatever you do, you know,
In the mornings.
yes, just anything along those lines is right now the important thing. And also in the evening, just any routine during the day, you focus on right now, and now it's the time to write down. So just take a piece of paper and a pen and just write down the things that you continuously do, like over multiple like weeks or months. So like really routines that you know, okay, I'm every single time, every day I'm doing this or that. That's kind of my thing, or that I always do. So like take a couple of minutes and write down the things that you just during the day do.
And if you don't have a routine, good and bad.
Any.
Good and bad routines, yes.
Any
both.
routines.
Yes, any routines. And if you don't have things that you repeat every day because you change it up, then just write down the things that you did today. What happened in the morning and later and now, and what will happen afterwards. And we will get some tea.
That's a good. You can get some too, just FYI.
It's not like you're in your house. When you have them written down, maybe just send an emoji or or like I'm done, something,
In the chat,
so we know that we can continue.
Doesn't have to be every routine, but just something to work with.
Yeah. I peeled the potatoes, I cut them. ready to go. Okay. If you didn't finish, you can leave it for later as well. This is just simply a routine check and a zombie mode check to see how many things are we doing automatically and we don't even know. And you might have experienced, like, for example, leaving your house and wondering if you locked the door, or it's like, oh, did I leave the stove on or something? Like, these things happen because we're not paying attention to them. And yeah, as we told you, like, so often this is very useful, but it's good to know that you're not paying attention most of the time. So the next exercise, it's going to be sort of relaxing, kind of meditation-like, I would say, exercise to address a little bit deeper on the thoughts and emotions. So when you are sort of ready, you can put your pen down and put your pin down, as in Google Maps. Okay, you're here. It's Sunday. Let's chill. And
maybe remember again, we went now from checking out what's in our environment towards, okay, what is our behavior? And now we're moving forward to, okay, what's inside, what's happening inside. So a bit more deeper into the emotions and how that is like influencing us, and maybe how repeatedly that is happening. And that exercise is going to be a bit more relaxing, sort of meditation-like. So enjoy, and it's hopefully a good memory that's coming up.
You're spoiling it.
I
know. Damn it. Okay, so let's just
teasing.
It's not. Okay, let's just concentrate on the place that we're sitting, the room that we're in. Take a deep breath. And when you feel comfortable and ready to start, close your eyes. And slowly focus on your breathing and how your lungs expand when you inhale. If you can't feel your lungs, you can feel your chest or your belly. Move with your breathing. Feel the parts of your body that are touching the place you're sitting in. If you're touching the ground with your feet, also feel that. And like a wave, go from your feet to your head. So just go through the legs, the knees, the thighs, the butt, the belly, the chest, your arms, your neck, and your head. And now focus on your eyes. They are closed right now, but just imagine they're open. And that in front of you, you see a glass bowl full of papers. Now, still in your imagination, reach out to this glass bowl and grab a paper. Just one. And hold it in your hand. Don't open it yet. And concentrate on the feeling of anticipation, like what's going to happen. Well, what's going to happen is that when you open this paper, you will find that inside it has a very happy memory. It can be from anywhere in your life, but you cannot see it yet because you didn't open the paper. So now bring the paper closer to your face and open it. And slowly start to see more clearly which memory comes up. Concentrate on the feelings that you had in that memory. The people that you were with, if you were with someone. The environment. Where are you? What's the ground like? What's the sky or the roof like? And just be very present in this memory. This happy memory from the past. Concentrate on how it feels. And when you feel like you got a good notion of how it was, you can feel yourself present in that memory. You can go back to the paper, fold it, and with your hand you bring it to your heart. And you just feel it dissolve in your chest and inhabit yourself. Because this is part of you after all. It's there. And concentrating on the sensations, try to go back to your breathing and the parts of your body that touch the place that you're sitting. Any sounds around you. Maybe you hear birds, cars. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Hello. It's been a while. I always get this really happy, perky memory, so that I'm like in this mood.
I also got a super active memory, running obviously.
Nice.
Running on the pier in Hong Kong. Oh, that was great. Loved it.
Wind.
Yeah.
Lovely. So, if you had it, well, if you were able to connect, then that's wonderful. And if you had any problems connecting, it's fine. It takes time. We do this very often, so for us it's easy. But I know that if you're just starting, it can be challenging. So just give it time, and you will get there. Don't worry. So this was also about concentrating and observing feelings and thoughts. Mm-hmm. When you were prompted to bring up a memory, you didn't quite consciously decide because you didn't know what was going to happen, but just like automatically something popped up. And this is sort of just like subconscious working for you. Just happy memory. Okay, let's open the drawer of happy memories. Big one. There you go. And this is also how we interact during the day when we are having a conversation with someone, like something, oh, that reminds me that I need to tell you this, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. And our brain has this way of connecting automatically these patterns, and also connecting thoughts to emotions. So when I say happy memory, like it's a memory that's actually sprinkled with happy feelings. And when you want to bring it up, it also brings back the emotions of that memory. And it could happen for also like bad memories, scary memories, surprising memories, anything. And you will still get, if you dive into it, you will still get these responses from your body, like emotional responses. And this is also programmed in your brain. It's also something you can trigger or observe.
And so this exercise was again a bit more difficult than the other ones, because it was suddenly you had to focus on the internal. Okay, what's happening inside of me, rather than just taking in from your senses. Okay, there's something colorful happening. There's some movement, or just anything in your environment. And so this right now might be a bit more challenging, but that is sort of more closely connected to your daily routines, what you're doing every day. And so if you were able to jump into such a memory, you can observe those feelings in there. You might also be able to do that now during the day, to do that for your routines, to do that for just the feelings you have throughout the day. And so what we just wanted to spark with that exercise is literally that you think about, okay, what am I doing like every day, and how do I feel while I'm doing that?
Yeah.
And so just making your senses, or your internal feeling senses, a bit more aware, and a bit more like training them in order for you to perceive that actively. Because that again is like the first step to be able to notice it, and then to decide again moving forward to is that a good one? The question you asked in the chat, like good or bad routines, it's exactly that. So right now you were able to spot a bit more of the routines that you were doing, or the feelings you had, and now the next step would be going into the evaluation. Is that something I would like to continue doing, or feeling, or thinking? And so with this awareness, you were able to now select a bit more carefully and consciously. Okay, that's something cool that I don't really like. This I would like to continue. Yeah. And so that just gives you a bit more the freedom and the choice to actually go into those different categories.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're aware that it's a lot of information. It's like a truckload of information. But just like to keep it simple, is you have your environment. So you can be aware of your environment. Check your environment. Is it good? Are you comfortable with it? Do you need to fix something? You need to change something? Good. Like that's the exercise. Okay, environment. Then behaviors, like these patterns that we repeat, the zombie mode. Are there any behaviors that you would like to change? Are you compulsively eating, or are you going too fast, like through social media, and just like when you wake up, you just go through social media and you don't take a moment to breathe or have a coffee before doing that? Like just notice these patterns in the zombie mode, in the behaviors, in the emotions, and in the thoughts. And we're mentioning them together because they are like pretty tied up. And then you can connect, like, okay, when I think of this person, for example, then I get happy. When I think of this, then like this deadline that I have, or doing my taxes, it's like a true story. Like I get like choked up, and I don't like what like very lively example, but this gives you awareness of where you are now and how you react to things. Like when you get input, what is that? And the input can come from the outside or it can come from the inside, because a thought popped up, a memory popped up, an image popped up. So yeah, just for now, that's a truckload of information. Just know that you have like this habits that you build, and what's important is that you audit, check if these habits aligned with the person that you want to be, and if they don't, then maybe you can slowly try to change them, one habit at a time.
Yeah, but for now it's really just focus on observe what is going on. That's already like a huge task to just see, okay, what habits am I doing? Therefore the exercise might be good if you didn't finish it, to continue it or to like do it in for other days, for other areas, and just see, okay, where are things that I consistently do, and just look out for them. And I guess you will notice quite quickly then your brain is trying to evaluate them, to judge them. Okay, that's a good habit, that's a bad habit. And so that is almost intuitively coming. And so when this, I guess also again noticing when this is happening, so you can maybe really take notice of that and like write it down. Okay, that is like a habit I would like to change. This is something I'd like to continue. And just by like having a list of, okay, what is there and where do those habits lead me? That's a very powerful thing to have when you decide to go in a specific direction, when you want to change something. Then you can see, okay, if I just change this habit, there is the possibility to changing myself into a specific direction. As like I don't know actually from whom the quote is, I just quote it all the time, but you are what you repeatedly do, feels like a super fitting quote to especially that, because it really makes you the person that you are by just all the time doing the same things, and it evokes almost the same thoughts while you do it.
Yeah. But when you're observing, try not to, like as we were talking about the bad habits and the good habits, try not to beat yourself up if you have bad habits. This could really happen. It's like, oh my God, I'm on my phone all day. And it's fine if it happens now. Just notice. And if you notice, you might start to change, because it's not automated anymore. It's not something that you do in the zombie mode. Just try not to judge yourself, otherwise you will not do it, because it feels bad to notice. And try to approach it with like an observing attitude.
And so really that what you should remember from this webinar is just that you keep in mind that you have the ability to notice all those things going on. You have basically a tool called really to observe, in order for you to be aware of what's going on around you in your environment, but also the same thing goes for your inside environment. I don't know if that makes sense.
Corny, but good.
But it's sort of true that you can then really observe what's going on, and that is really the first step that we really want to bring closer to you. If you want to remember one thing, keep or observe a bit more in your environment and see what's there. Yeah. Just notice
your patterns, your thoughts, your emotions, whatever you want to observe, whatever you want to start, then you can start there.
That's the first thing in order to make any change happen.
Yes.
So
yeah, so that's a good segue for the next webinar where we will continue with the C.O.V.I.D model. So today was the observe. So we basically take the current state and we observe it. That's all that we did today. And next week we will do the visualize. And
a bit higher. We just saw that.
Sorry.
So yeah, the O in the visualize part. So next week is then when you observed a couple of patterns and throughout the week and things you wanted to I guess also when you saw them and judged them and wanted to change. The next week is then the part for like, okay, how do I would like it to be? Like really visualizing things that you would like to change, and how would the like ideal state, the desired state, look like? So that's sort of what we will be doing next week and how to do that.
Perfect. And if you don't know about the C.O.V.I.D model, it's also not important. Like, these are tools that are useful for life, and it's basically a psychology class. So yeah, it's just for you to understand yourself a little bit better. We will send you the recording of this webinar in case you want to go back to a section or
rewatch it, send it to other people, something like that. Whatever, we just
ignore it. That's also an option.
we'll upload it to YouTube and you can watch it there, and you get like, I'm not sure if we want to publish it, but you definitely get a link to it, and you can see it again throughout like the steps. Maybe redo the exercises, or really just just send it to another person who would think, okay, that might be helpful if you want to do this, and keep an eye on your routines when you notice that in another person. And so we will also continue with like doing videos,
YouTube videos.
So we did already, was it two
last week
published?
We will publish them when they are edited.
So next week we will have hopefully 2 new videos there.
Yes.
One is about the C.O.V.I.D model, and the other one is about 7 tips for working from home.
Yes, working or studying from home.
Yes, anything like that.
It was asked as a request. Good. And okay, so now we're opening the questions. Like, if you guys didn't understand anything, or anything is a bit extreme, but if there's something that you didn't understand, then just write it down. Or if you need an extra example, if you want to share something that popped up and you don't really know how to deal with that, then also feel free to share it in the comments. We covered the content, so now it's just completely open for interaction, and if you have any questions.
Just one addition to what we said before.
Yes.
In order to get the recording, we send it out via email. So like signing up on the website would be beneficial. Otherwise, you just text us and we send you the link.
Yeah.
But for any question, please chat window now.
Yes. Otherwise, we feel like we're talking to ourselves.
Yes. To the wall.
To the wall. The beautiful wall.
Also feedback if we should do something else, something different. Maybe it was too fast, too slow, too much.
We're always afraid it's too much.
Yeah.
Like, is that too much information? It's fine. If it's too much, you can just we're good. Share the links later. Perfect.
The links, you mean to the recording?
Yeah.
I presume.
think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. We will do that. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If I guess, did get the invite email for this webinar, you obviously will also get the recording.
They didn't.
They didn't? All right. Then. All right.
No, I sent it in WhatsApp.
Well. So I guess you will send it then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Living in the present, love it. Applying the knowledge right away. Okay. I don't have questions, but I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Flo.
Thanks.
That's very kind. Perfect. Then just feel free to write. We will stay for a minute more. No questions. Love the exercise. Thank you, Brazil. So yeah, you know how to reach us if you have any follow-up questions. And we will just leave it for 30 seconds or so to see if somebody else has a question.
And if not, hopefully see you then next week again.
Yes,
for the visualize
Easter
part.
Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot that again.
The visualize.
Yeah.
I don't know how we can relate it.
Yeah, it's Easter. Ooh, I don't
Visualizing
know.
Easter.
Yeah. What
Chocolate.
does your perfect Easter look like?
Yeah, we will figure it out.
Oh yeah, if you don't have a question and don't want to hear anything anymore, you can also leave if you would like to.
Of course.
So at some point then we can close it. Otherwise we just stand like stupid here in front of the camera talking to ourselves. So just if you enjoy that, continue. You know.
That's a new habit we acquired.
Yeah.
In the quarantine, just talking to a camera.
That's actually true, yeah.
Yeah. Now we can end it.
Can we?
Can we? Yes.
Or is anyone like, no, don't end it? It was great today.
Thank you. See you next week. All right. Then we will end this call. Thank you guys for joining. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Rizil.
See ya.
Thank you, Flavia. Bye,
Adios.
Flo. Adios. Bye-bye.
It's fine.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Drop everyone now. Bye.